Did you know that it's estimated that 3.5 million Americans develop skin cancer every year? 3.5 million Americans. So the FDA, it's the first time they've done this in 33 years. They've just issued new rules for sun protection. You know, and they still call it sunscreen, but that's not even right. So I'm just calling it sun protection. So right now, Dr. William Groff is here, and he's a board-certified dermatologist. So we're going to talk about the new rules. Welcome back to the show, by the way.
Thanks. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you again. You have brought you. Let's just start with the visual, because I'll get to the new rules in a second. But this is, I think, just outstanding. Tell us what's in the shot glass here and what this means.
Well, what most people don't understand is when you go out in the sun, in order to be adequately protected, you need the equivalent of what fits in that shot glass to cover your whole body. And then you need to reapply it about every 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you need to take a full bottle of sunblock when you go to the ocean, to
that
the
can
beach,
get expensive. You know, you can get the store brand kind. It's just a lot cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But you know what's even more expensive? Skin cancer. All right. So
yeah.
It's nothing to laugh at, but I tell you, I mean, the FDA, 33 years it's taken to them to come up with this. Let's go over the rules. First, you can't claim that it's waterproof because
they're changing it. Well, it's been very confusing for the consumers, so they're trying to make it easy, which I think they have. Now the bottles will be labeled as water resistant, and it'll either say for 40 minutes or 80 minutes.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, if you're in the ocean or in a swimming pool, you should reapply as soon as you get out. That's the most important thing.
As soon as you get out. Okay. The labeling has to include how well the product protects from both UVA and UVB light. So what is the difference between UVA and
Right.
UVB?
Well, there's two forms of radiation that damage our skin that cause skin cancer, wrinkles, sun damage, things that make us look old, and it's UVA and UVB. Traditionally, sunblocks would protect against UVB, but not UVA. So now, in order to be categorized as broad spectrum, it's going to have to protect our skin against both, which is a good thing. So if you ask me what kind of sunblock to get, I can simply tell you SPF 30, broad spectrum, any brand you want is perfect.
Well, I know that a lot of those products have been on the market for a few years because we've had them on the show before. I talk about it during my surf reports and the UV index report and that kind of thing all the time. But now these changes, and they have to be put into place by the summer of 2012. So that'll be next summer. But in the meantime, you can still get these particular products on the shelf. You just have to look at the label, right?
Right, exactly. You want to look at the label and make sure it protects against UVA, UVB, and I recommend using at least an SPF 30. Now, the other change in the ruling has been that products aren't going to be able to label their bottles. Like this one, for example, says it's an SPF 90 plus. In the future, this is only going to be able to go up to 50 because there's no proof that a 90 does anything more than a 50. And you know, it gets crazy because now there's products that are 100 plus, and what's it going to go up to, 1 million? And it really doesn't make a difference. It's all marketing.
Yeah, and so there's just a lot of specifics in the language. I think the FDA is really, you know, becoming, you know, more focused on. So we can't say, you know, this is a protection of over 90. That's ridiculous. You can't get over 50. It's not sweat proof. There's no such thing. It's protection, you know. So it's good because skin cancer is very dangerous, is it not? I mean, talk about skin cancer. What is it? How does it affect people?
I've had it affect me personally and my family. I've seen thousands of skin cancers as a dermatologist, and we see one person in the United States dies every hour from skin cancer.
Really?
1 an hour.
I hear it's one of the more dangerous kinds of cancer.
Well, the problem is if you catch it early, it's 100% curable. But
really?
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. But if it spreads, it's almost incurable.
Oh gosh.
And then it's almost like a death sentence. So it's very unfortunate, but we want to catch these things early, and we want to protect our patients from ever having to deal with this.
Well, before we send it back into the studio, do you think this is important that the FDA did this? Is this a big deal?
I think it's a good move. I think it's going to simplify things for the consumer, and obviously there's been a lot of media coverage about it, so with it being summertime, it's perfect timing.
Right on.
To get the word out.
Okay, well, Dr. Groff, thank you for being here. For more information on this, go to our website, fox5sandiego.com, and click on the Scene On button. Again, the new labels must be in place by the summer of 2012. In the meantime, you can find UVA and UVB protection on the shelves. Make sure that you look at it on the label. Guys, back to you now in the studio.
Very, very, very important stuff. All right, Chrissy, thank you. 7:29 now. How many miles will you drive before your next oil